again, everybody. Andrew Rogers here, the host of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. This is episode number 27. It's the finals edition of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. The Super League Cup is underway. It got underway this past weekend. Game number 1 between the Stratford Fighting Irish and the Tillsonburg Thunder, the two representatives from the WOSHL League this year in the Super League Cup final, presented by VMF Sportswear. It was a heck of a game at the Allman this past weekend. We have full highlights from them in a moment, coming up here actually pretty shortly. But just want to say thank you for coming on and watching the podcast this week. I am Andrew Rogers, your host, of course, as if you guys didn't already know. We got a couple of games coming up this weekend, 2 games on tap, games 2 and 3 of this best of 7. Game 2 tomorrow night in Tillsonburg at 7:30 Saturday, the 15th of April, 7:30 start at the Tillsonburg Community Center for game number 2 of this best of 7, and then game 3 goes on Sunday, April the 16th at the William Allman. That starts at 6:30. So it should be a couple of really good games over this upcoming weekend in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. It's the Super League Cup Finals, presented by VMF Sportswear. We have a great guest lined up for the podcast today. Coming on is Associate Coach Mike Slotz of the Tillsonburg Thunder. So we will talk with him in a few moments here on the podcast for this week's edition. It's going to be a good time. We had a great conversation and look forward to playing that for you guys. But yeah, guys, without any sort of further ado, we'll get you fully recapped on this past weekend's game number 1. There was lots of good stuff to like there. Jam-packed action, all the way around. And again, myself and Brian Hawley, we just have so much fun doing hockey games, and we really enjoyed bringing it to you guys live on Sportfeast. So check out game 1 highlights right now.
This is the WOSHL Super League Cup, presented by VMF Sportswear and live on Sportfeast. Andrew Rogers inside the William Allman Memorial Arena here in Stratford. It's the Stratford Fighting Irish and the Tillsonburg Thunder in the Super League Cup final between the Thunder and the Irish. A matchup of number 3 versus number 4. All right. After O Canada, we're going to get underway here. Tillsonburg in the the away whites, as the Stratford Fighting Irish in their home all greens. Starting in goal for Stratford, number 1, Darren Smith. Starting in goal for Tillsonburg, number 31, Jesse Raymond. And we are set for puck drop. Super League Cup Finals here in Stratford. The Stratford Fighting Irish and the Tillsonburg Thunder were underway. Shoots off the side of the net. Fitzmaurice was in there looking for a tip. Couldn't get a stick on it. Good pace, Brian. Holy smokes.
Well, the Tillsonburg team are ready for these pinching Stratford defensemen. That's 2 odd man rushes in the last minute.
Oh, look out! Oh, wow! A bad bounce off the end boards eludes Jesse Raymond, and it's Brody Smith who capitalizes, and the Irish are on the board first.
Wow, what a huge break caught in mid-sentence there, making a point about one end. That makes a point about the pace of this game. I can barely get a thought out on one end, and the puck's all the way down to the other. Just an unlucky bounce. For those who have hung around the Stratford rink for the last 50 years, like some of us, you know full well these old boards have a couple of odd quirks to them.
Off the bad bounce off the end boards. So Smith with the goal as they announce it here in the arena, and I don't believe there's going to be any assists on that as it's in it. Oh, they score again! It's Smith again! Wow!
One of the oldest lines in hockey are go to the net and good things will happen. So good on Brody Smith. 2 examples right there of what happens when you go to the net hard.
He can't get the puck in deep though, and now he's going to try it again with Robbins without a stick. Weston has a man in front. Oh, back to the lineup. Jacob Brown shoots. Good save. Rebound. No shot there as Rebry couldn't get a rebound shot on Smith, as that point shot from Jacob Brown got in on Smith. Here come the Irish the other way. This is Cooper Leach. Back to Stokes. Oh, scores! Ray Robbins on the deflection. And it's 3-0 for Stratford with 11:05 to go here in the first. This puck is cleared out to the neutral zone. Look out. Cameron Stokes grabs it for one last chance. Oh, good save by Raymond. Stuck his pad out to make that save. 18 to go. Oh, another chance. They score! Oh, bad break for Tillsonburg, but Stratford puts another one past Jesse Raymond. What a goal with 14.8 to go. And again, talk about a massive kill, though, for Tillsonburg if they can kill this off. Maybe they can even get one. It's Morris. Pad save. Rebound. Oh, it's in! Oh, my God. What just happened there, Brian? What was I just... Did I call that accidentally?
I believe Zach Tierney just put it in his own net.
Oh, my God.
Wow, what a crazy play that was.
I didn't catch it. Okay, but either way, it's a Tillsonburg goal, short-handed. There's a shot from the line. Oh, look out, it's in! Wow, just like that, Stratford comes back and they get a power play goal of their own. It's 5-1.
I think it's going to go to Fuller as the puck bounced off the end board, off the skate of Jesse Raymond and back into the
I
net.
think Robbins might have put it in.
Unless Robbins tapped it in, but it looked, it definitely hit Raymond in the foot. Whether that knocked it in or Robbins did, I don't know. Either way, that's a big, quick answer for Stratford after that goal where Tillsonburg looks like they're getting a little bit of help.
He'll get another chance. Jacob Brown lost his stick. It obliterated. Robbins has the puck now. Oh, Brown went down off of his own stick. Shot, scores! Cameron Stokes puts the dagger into his side holster after scoring a beauty. And I think we are going to get a goaltender change here, Brian.
Wow, where do I begin on that one? That is Stratford's top line. I was talking to a friend between periods and said, you know, Stratford's got 4 goals, but we haven't heard from Brulot or Leach yet. So we sure heard from them there, where it's a nice play by Robbins, get the puck down low to Brulot, who I don't know how he saw Stokes in the middle there. They played together all year. Maybe they got a 6th sense going between them. And of course, Cameron Stokes is a sniper, managed to let the goaltender and the defenseman go down in front. A little bit of a toe drag and zip, top cheese.
Fritz Morris back behind the net, nobody there, and now they're going to get it out. Boy, this Stratford line's been out there forever. Gorman's the first to change. The rest of them are caught in. Fitzmaurice, good pass. Shoots, McQueen scores just like that. Unbelievable pressure by the Thunder, and they make Stratford pay. How long were those guys on the ice, Brian?
Well, they were their own worst enemies. They had the puck. I was keeping count. They had the puck 4 times. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cooper Leach still in the box here, so Thunder have it on this power play, and they're set up. Barletta across the mark, McQueen. McQueen down low to Rebry. Tried to get away from Coombe. Coombe picks it off. Backhands it up to Stokes. He gets it out. Look out, Brulot has a chance. Scores! Short-handed, Graham Brulot. It's 7-3.
That was about a 100-foot airmail pass that hit him right in stride. That was a classic. That's a classic Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs pass right there. Hit him right in stride, bumped it ahead, used his body to keep the defender off, and then slid it in 5-hole. We talked about how huge it would be just to kill this penalty off.
In the middle, he was looking for Rebry, but he couldn't get there. Leach shoots, scores! Cooper Leach. What a shot. A blast by number 55, or 44, Cooper Leach. And that extends the Irish lead to 8-2 here in the third.
And that's Cooper Leach being Cooper Leach, a guy who's got great speed, great hands, and a great shot to go with all the other intangibles that he brings to this hockey club. They come out a little better. They'll have a week off. They might be a little bit tired, frankly. They played, I believe this is their 4th game in 8 days.
Yeah, something like that.
And so these guys are used to playing, 2 games on the weekend. And so 4 games in a real short stretch.
That one's in, and it's Jamie McQueen who squeaks it past Darren Smith with 4:17 to go. Tillsonburg connects on the power play, and it's now 8-3 for the Irish. 4:17 to play.
Little poetic justice there. McQueen's been very good today, so Tillsonburg's just got to regroup, get their stuff together, and they got to play pretty badly in game one of their last series, and look what happened there. So in the end, great all-around effort. Kudos to Darren Smith for a fantastic game that left no doubt who the winning team was going to be today.
So Stratford strikes first. They take game one of this series. 8-3 is your final. The winning goaltender on Stratford's side, Darren Smith. Losing goaltender is Jesse Raymond on the Thunder side of things. 8-3. The Irish lead in this best of 7 Super League Cup final by a 1-0 score.
So yeah, guys, as you can see, wild game, scoring galore. Big victory from the Stratford Fighting Irish, an 8-3 victory, a thrashing of the Thunder in game number 1. Stratford coming into the game, they hadn't played in 2 weeks, and definitely were well rested and ready to go. They were prepared, and they were ready off the get-go. Tillsonburg, you could kind of tell that they were a little bit fatigued given the fact that they had played so much in the last few days. But guys, definitely want to show you. So we'll get you updated here on the rest of the schedule, as well as your playoff leaders, as we're going to look at that now. The playoff leaders are as follows. So Mike Rebry, 20 points for the Thunder. Jake Brown with 18. Jamie McQueen up to 17 after his hat trick. Cameron Stokes of the Stratford Fighting Irish, 7 and 10. Zach Cameron of Elora with 15 points. Ryan Roth of Tilbury, 15 points. Cooper Leach up to 14 from the Stratford Fighting Irish. Mitch Van Teeling with 13. Graham Brulot is at 12. And Mitch Fitzmaurice rounds out the top 10. He has 12 points in 12 games played, 3 goals, and 9 assists. Expect by the end of this Super League Cup final that this will be filtered with Tillsonburg and Stratford players. But it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. And again, who comes out on top in this best of 7. So game 2 of this series will take place on Saturday, 7:30 start at the Tillsonburg Community Center for game number 2. Game 3 will then go on Sunday at 6:30 at the William Allman. That's on Sunday, April the 16th. Game 4 will then take place Friday, April the 21st in Tillsonburg, an 8 o'clock start. Note the date, Friday. Note the start time, 8 o'clock. Game 5, if necessary, will then go Saturday, April the 22nd, in Stratford, 4:30 start in that one for Game 5, again, if necessary. Game 6, if necessary, goes Friday, April the 28th. Again, note the date, Stratford at Tillsonburg, 8:30. Note the start time in that one for Game 6, if necessary. And then Game 7, again, if necessary, will take place on Saturday, April the 29th, in Stratford at the William Allman, 3 o'clock. Is the start time in that one, again, if it does indeed go all the way to 7. So yeah, guys, like I say, it's great to see lots of good scoring, lots of jam-packed action there, and we got a heck of a weekend coming up here. 2 massive games. And obviously, yeah, guys, the big question is that how can Tillsonburg rebound from one game to the next? I mean, obviously, they've had a week to kind of recuperate and get some rest in, hopefully heal any sort of battle wounds, because they've played a lot of hockey of late. But again, they need to take control of the home ice situation, which in Tillsonburg I expect it to be rocking in the Tillsonburg Community Center for game number 2. It should be a raucous crowd, and they will be into it. And Tillsonburg's got to use that to their advantage. Game 3 back in Stratford on Sunday at 6:30. That'll be an unbelievable contest as well, no doubt. Again, it could be a situation where Stratford would be looking to go up 3-0. It could be a situation where they're trying to break a deadlock 1-1 tie in the series. So we'll see what happens. But again, going from game 1 to game 2, Jake Brown and Todd Ratchford missing from the lineup in game 1, huge losses in my opinion. Big difference. Those guys are difference makers on both the forward and defensive ends of the ice. But not having them in the lineup, I feel like made a big difference. Getting Jamie McQueen back, that worked out really well. Obviously, he scored the hat trick, got credited for the 3 goals that the Tillsonburg Thunder scored in the game. But like I say, an unbelievable a show of events from Jay McQueen. He's an unbelievable hockey player, and he proved it in game number 1 with the hat trick. We'll see what he can do for an encore in game number 2. Again, every one of these guys out there, doesn't matter if you're Stratford or Tillsonburg, they're battle wounded and worn down at this point in the season. But this is where you got to kick it into another gear because it's for the Super League Cup final. Like the Super League Cup championship is on the line here. Got to go all out for this. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. But yeah, guys, like I say, 1-0 Stratford leads in the best of 7. Game 2 on Saturday at 7:30 in Tillsonburg, and then Game 3 Sunday at 6:30 in Stratford. With that being said, guys, we're going to tee up our interview for this week's edition of the podcast. Associate coach of the Tillsonburg Thunder, Mike Slotz. All
hey,
right, all right, folks. Pleased to be joined on this edition of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. My guest at this time is an associate coach of the Tillsonburg Thunder, Mike Slotz. Mike, it's great to have you on here, pal. Great to welcome you in, have you on the podcast, and thanks a lot for coming on and doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry I couldn't make it last week. I was at the Tigers home opener actually for my buddy's bachelor party. So
right on. Wild time, I'm sure.
Not in a good state of mind at that point.
It's all good, man. We just appreciate you making time to come on and do this.
Yeah,
and again, like you and Trevor have done a phenomenal job since you've come in. Did a really good job with the Thunder in kind of a weird circumstance. You coming in at that point in this season. And then, yeah, like you say, game 1, obviously in this Super League Cup final, obviously didn't go the way of the Thunder way, if you will. What was your takeaway from game 1, Mike?
It just was one of those games from the start. We just weren't really getting the bounces going our way. I thought we honestly did get off to a pretty good start. And then they got that one bounce off the tuna can backboard there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when it gets out of hand like that, you just got to forget about it and move on to the next game. So I know our guys will do that. So
yeah, I mean, and you spoke to it. It's a 7-game series, still a lot of hockey left. Again, I guess what has been the message that you've been preaching, I guess, for your bounce back in game 2 tomorrow night, back in Tillsonburg on home ice?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes back to the basics, really. Just getting the puck in deep and forechecking hard, having that high guy, and eliminating their odd man rushes because they're obviously a quick young team and they got a lot of pep in their steps. So we got to slow them down any chance we can. So.
Did anything kind of stick out at you and surprise you from game 1? Like, what was there anything or I guess what was the major takeaway from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough game. That game was a tough game to really get any read, of how, we know we got to change our game from how we played Tilbury. It was a little bit more, crash and bang in Tilbury. Right. I feel like, these guys are a little bit more finesse with the puck, and we got a little bit more speed. So, I mean, it's every game you play, you gotta just adjust accordingly. So, definitely a lot of things to change, but mindset shouldn't really change too much from what it's been all playoffs. So,
fair. Do you think there's any sort of truth? And again, I know, obviously at this point in the season, and not only that, to be competitive, it's tough. You don't want to just sit and make excuses necessarily, but yeah, I mean, is there any sort of truth or, I guess, reality to the fact that you guys played so much in a short amount of time and in a hard-fought series against Tilbury, where Stratford was essentially just waiting for you guys to get going? Like, obviously, yeah, they could have been rested, but they came out of the gate hot.
Yeah, I mean, every team deals with injuries during playoffs, and 100% our guys were, they're definitely banged up.
Right.
we got a lot of guys playing through some stuff, but it just shows what kind of character we have in the room. And yeah, we just gotta take another step forward and get better every game of the series, and that's all we can really ask from these guys. That we got both teams have talent out the wazoo, but it's
Right.
just about harnessing it at the right moment. And I think our guys, we seen it last series against Tilbury. Like when the back's against the wall, I feel like that's when we play our best game. Obviously, we don't want to wait till
Right.
game four, our best game, so we got to get that mentality going for next game. But
Right.
yeah, like again, I've seen it from our guys before. I know that they're gonna bounce back and have a great game tomorrow night. So.
From your perspective, I mean, how exciting was that Tilbury series? I mean, that was pretty awesome. Like I talked to Trevor about it last week, and like it must have been so cool to be a part of on the bench, in the action, right in the thick of things. Like how cool was that to be a part of that experience?
Yeah, I mean, obviously me and Trev are behind the bench, but it's just as special for us when we can watch our guys have a moment like they did, and come back from a 3-game deficit. So I mean, it's just it's just one of those things where now we had that high. Now we got to just reset and go back to the basics, and feel them out this next game here. So
Absolutely, and again, it's in front of a raucous, what will be a raucous Tilsonburg community center. What do you expect from the home crowd, Mike?
yeah, I think I think Stratford's crowd was pretty intense. They had their little their drummer boy
Yeah, I heard that a lot.
too. So yeah, I mean, obviously, a town like Tillsonburg, they're just super passionate about the Thunder. I mean, I played there for 1 year, and everyone treats you like family there. So it's just definitely a special place to play in the senior A loop for sure.
Yeah, and like I say, I mean, again, that's got to be so cool. Even like Trevor having played for them as well. Like, I just think it's so cool that you guys have come in and like, really, how did this kind of all come about for you, Mike? Like, what was that process like for you? Like, was it a no-brainer decision, or was it something that you had to be kind of convinced to do?
I mean, I'm super passionate about hockey and playing hockey, and it just was something I've always thought about. Oh yeah, coaching would it'd be fun, but I never really had an opportunity, or never really put myself out there to to do it. And then
Right.
Trevor, so me and Trevor are actually cousins. I don't know if you knew that, but
Okay.
I think I think he messaged a few other guys before he messaged me, and nobody really. Obviously, it's time consuming.
Sure.
And when he messaged me, he just kind of said, "Hey, would you be interested?" And I said, "Like, yeah. I mean, if you need me, I'll be there."
Right.
And then we headed out to Elora the next night. So
Kind of crazy how it all comes together like that.
pretty quick, but I mean, I'm definitely glad with the decision I made to join the bench there with Trev. So I think he doesn't have much experience coaching, but I think he's done a stand up job, and he's very good at just reading situations in the room and on the bench. And basically we're just trying to keep these guys happy, right? Like
Yeah.
we know we got the skill on the team. We just gotta make sure everyone's bringing their best game every opportunity they get. So
Yeah, like I say, it's a nice 1-2 punch you guys got in behind the bench with you and Trav. You guys did, like I say, you guys done an amazing job.
yeah.
Did you have any sort of like, I guess, what was your familiarity with the team prior to coming in? Like, did you have a lot of familiarity there? I would imagine you would have.
Well, I mean, a few, like I played Barletta and me. If we played AAA together growing up, so we
Okay.
had a good relationship. And actually, I played with when Finley was there when I played. He's been
Okay.
there.
Yeah, he's
So,
been there forever.
so yeah, he definitely was good to see. And I skate with Ryan Martinelli every Thursday at the Budweiser Gardens there. So
Right.
me and his brother actually played junior together in
Okay.
St. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely some familiar faces, but probably 70% of the team I really didn't have a relationship with before. But yeah, I mean, everyone just treats you so well and makes you feel like you're part of the team, even when you've only been there for a month and a half, 2 months.
Right,
So
right.
it's nice to see that.
And I guess the question that the next one that I want to ask you here about is obviously in game one, there was big absences both on the forwards and the defense. Jake Brown missing up front, obviously, and Todd Ratchford on defense. Two of your top guys in those respective positions. What can
For
you
sure.
tell us about game two and when we expect them back in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I believe Brownie's back and Ratch he's at least in for one game, I believe, on the weekend.
Okay.
Obviously, we had an injury last game from Rebs there,
Right.
and I don't think he's it's not worth risking. He got the high stick in almost like just over the eye, and
I
it's
remember.
just yeah, it's just not worth risking. Going at it again next. He needs the rest really.
Yeah.
So
You got to
um,
be really careful with that, right?
what's that? Sorry.
You got to be really careful with that because, like I say, you got to be able to still
Here,
work afterwards,
but
right?
yeah, I mean, nobody's unless you're super young still. Nobody's going anywhere really after this, right? They're playing for the love of the game and the
Right.
passion that they still have. So, I mean, anytime you get injured like that is just, um, you got to just take a step back and rethink some things. I mean, obviously he definitely wishes. I'm sure he could play this weekend, but it's just not worth the risk at this point. So.
Right. Got
Um,
to consider long
oh,
term, right?
yeah,
So,
obviously being our captain, and basically him and Brownie put the team on their backs in the last
in the
three
Tilbury series there. Yeah.
Tilbury series. So he's going to be a big loss, but I think everyone respects that guy, so everyone's going to step up in his absence, and obviously, like you said, getting Brownie back and Ratchford back, that steadies the blue line and helps out offensively with Brownie up front there, the natural goal scorer. So
Well, and that's just it, man. He came alive in that Tilbury
yeah,
series, and he's just such a great scorer. Like,
yeah. I
how
mean,
impressive is he to watch from a coaching perspective? It's got to be pretty entertaining.
yeah. I mean, again, as I was a goalie growing up, and anytime you just can tell when somebody's got that special touch, like he's just so patient with the puck, and waits for the goalie to make the move, and then he just puts it where he wants it. So um, yeah, I mean, he was definitely a big loss for us on
Last
last
week
Sunday.
for game one. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we're expecting him to have a bounce back, help us have a bounce back performance anyway.
Well, he's definitely a difference maker, and like I say, we're excited. Game two is tomorrow night in Tilsonburg, 7:30 start there, and then game three back at Stratford at 6:30 on Sunday
Yep.
at the Allman. Again, two big games. Again, you guys are down 1-0, but there's a lot of hockey left, and it should
Yeah.
be a lot of fun. We've been talking with associate coach Mike Slats of the Tilsonburg Thunder. Mike, it's been a pleasure having you on here, dude. Really has been, and we look forward to seeing you in Tilsonburg tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, guys. So once again, I want to thank Mike Slots for coming on and speaking with us. In preparation for game number two. I know he's got a lot on the go. He's got a lot on the mind, obviously, but I appreciate him stopping in and speaking with us in preparation for game two. It should be a dandy in Tilsonburg on Saturday. Again, big contest there. Stratford leads in the best of 7, 1-0. But yeah, guys, I am Andrew Rogers, the host of this podcast. It's great to be able to bring you these, especially from now my current residence, which is in my parents' house in Southampton. God love them to death, and you know what? It's things are going pretty good for me. So I wear a smile I know I look tired. I've had the longest week that I feel like I've had in my whole life. So pardon me for that. But again, just just grateful to be able to bring these podcasts to you guys, and I hope you do enjoy the conversations I have with the guests that we feature on here. Andrew Rogers signing off on this week's edition, and we'll see you guys again next week. In between's game to tee up game 4 and any possible subsequent games after that, but we'll see what the state is when we rejoin you guys next week. Get out to the games if you can. Watch them live on Sportfeast. Should be a lot of fun. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you guys again next week.